Welcome to this introduction to Scrum, a lightweight agile framework designed to deliver value efficiently. Let's break down the key concepts you see here. First, Scrum focuses on iterative progress through short cycles called sprints. Each sprint delivers a usable increment of the product, ensuring continuous improvement and adaptability. The daily Scrum is a quick 15-minute meeting where the team syncs on progress and plans the next 24 hours. It's not for problem solving, but for transparency and alignment. Sprint review happens at the end of each sprint. Here, the team demonstrates the work completed to stakeholders and gathers feedback. This ensures the product meets real needs and allows for adjustments. Scoping involves defining the work for a sprint. The team collaborates to select tasks from the product backlog, ensuring they're realistic and aligned with goals. Clarity here prevents overcommitment. Finally, the retrospective is a dedicated time for the team to reflect on the sprint. They discuss what went well, what didn't, and how to improve. This feedback loop is crucial for growth and efficiency. Scrum thrives on transparency, inspection, and adaptation. By embracing these principles, teams can deliver high-value products collaboratively and efficiently. Let's compare Agile and Scrum to understand how they work together. Agile is a mindset, a way of thinking that focuses on delivering value to customers through iterative, flexible processes. It emphasizes collaboration, adaptability, and continuous improvement. Scrum, on the other hand, is a specific framework under the Agile umbrella. It takes Agile principles and adds structure with defined roles like the product owner and Scrum Master, events like sprints and daily stand-ups, and artifacts like the product backlog. The key difference? Agile is the philosophy, while Scrum is the practical toolkit. Agile tells you why to adapt. Scrum shows you how with clear steps to manage complex projects. Scrum is built on three core pillars that create its foundation. First is transparency. This means all aspects of the process must be visible to everyone involved. Next is inspection. The team regularly examines progress to spot issues early. Finally, there's adaptation, the ability to adjust quickly based on what's learned. These pillars are supported by 5 key values that guide how Scrum teams work together. Commitment refers to dedicating yourself to team goals. Courage means being willing to tackle tough challenges. Focus involves concentrating on the work at hand. Openness requires honest communication about progress and problems. And respect means valuing each team member's contribution. Together, these pillars and values create an environment where teams can inspect their work, adapt to changes, and continuously improve. In Scrum, there are 3 key roles that make the framework work effectively. First is the product owner. They're like the voice of the customer. Their main job is to manage the product backlog, which is essentially a prioritized to-do list, and they make sure the team is always working on the most valuable features first. Next, we have the Scrum Master, who acts as a coach and facilitator for the team. They don't manage people, but rather help remove obstacles, ensure Scrum practices are followed, and keep the process running smoothly. Think of them as a servant leader who enables the team to do their best work. Finally, there's the development team. These are the people who actually design, build, and test the product. They're cross-functional, meaning they have all the necessary skills within the team, and they're self-organizing, which means they decide how to turn backlog items into working software. Typically 5 to 9 people, this group collaborates daily to deliver product increments. Let's talk about the 4 key artifacts in Scrum that help teams stay organized and deliver value. First is the product backlog. Think of this as the master wish list for everything the product might need. The product owner keeps this prioritized so the team always knows what's most important to work on next. Then we have the sprint backlog. This is like the team's to-do list for the current sprint. During planning, they pull items from the product backlog and break them down into actionable tasks they can complete in 2 to 4 weeks. The increment is what the team produces at the end of each sprint. It's a working, potentially shippable piece of the product that meets quality standards. This is the real, tangible progress that builds up over time. Finally, the definition of done is the team's quality checklist. It makes sure every task meets the same high standards before being called complete. This might include things like testing, documentation, and code review requirements. Together, these artifacts create transparency about what needs to be done, what's being worked on now, and what's actually finished. Scrum uses 4 key events to keep teams aligned and continuously improving. First is sprint planning. This is where the team comes together at the start of each sprint to decide what they can realistically commit to delivering. They review the prioritized product backlog, break down work into tasks, and create their sprint backlog. Next, we have the daily Scrum, a quick 15-minute check-in where team members share what they did yesterday, what they're doing today, and any blockers they're facing. It's not for problem solving, but for keeping everyone synchronized and identifying issues early. At the end of each sprint comes the sprint review, kind of like a show and tell where the team demonstrates the working product increment to stakeholders. This is where they get valuable feedback that can influence what to work on next. Finally, there's the sprint retrospective, the team's private reflection time. They discuss what went well, what didn't, and most importantly, what they'll improve in the next sprint. This continuous improvement is what makes Scrum teams get better over time. These events create a regular heartbeat for the team, planning, daily check-ins, reviewing work, and improving processes, all working together to keep delivery on track. Let's look at how a sprint actually works in practice. First, every sprint has a fixed time box, typically between 1 to 4 weeks. This time constraint creates focus and urgency for the team. During this period, the team works exclusively on their committed goals without changing direction. The ultimate goal of each sprint is to produce a done increment, a fully functional piece of the product that could potentially be shipped to users. This means it's coded, tested, integrated, and meets all the definition of done criteria. Each increment builds on the previous ones, gradually creating a complete product. Here's how the flow works. At the start, the team selects high-priority items from the product backlog and breaks them down into specific tasks for their sprint backlog. Throughout the sprint, they transform these backlog items into working software through daily collaboration. By the end, these tasks become the new increment. The sprint cycle then repeats, planning the next set of backlog items, working through them, and delivering another valuable increment. Let's explore how Scrum teams measure their progress using 3 key metrics. First is velocity. This tracks how much work the team typically completes in a sprint, measured in story points or tasks. By looking at past sprints, teams can forecast how much they'll likely achieve in future ones, helping with realistic planning. The burndown chart is like a progress meter for the current sprint. It shows how much work remains each day, ideally burning down to 0 by the sprint's end. If the line isn't dropping fast enough, the team knows they might need to adjust their approach. Then there's the burn-up chart, which gives a bigger picture view. While burn-down focuses on the sprint, burn-up tracks the entire project, showing both work completed and any changes to total scope. This helps stakeholders understand if more features are being added and how progress compares to the full roadmap. Now let's talk about some common mistakes teams make when adopting Scrum, what we might call anti-patterns to avoid. First is the mini waterfall trap, where teams try to do all their design upfront before any development begins. This breaks the agile spirit of incremental delivery and feedback. Remember, in Scrum, we design, build, and test in small chunks throughout the sprint. Another big mistake is skipping or rushing through retrospectives. When teams don't take time to reflect on what's working and what's not, they miss valuable opportunities to improve. The retrospective is the team's chance to course correct. Don't treat it as optional. Perhaps the most damaging pitfall is overcommitting. When teams take on too much work in a sprint because they're overly optimistic or feel pressured, this leads to burnout, rushed quality, and missed commitments that hurt morale. It's better to under-promise and over-deliver. These pitfalls often happen when teams treat Scrum as just a set of meetings rather than embracing the mindset. Let's wrap up with the key takeaways about Scrum. First developed in the 1990s, Scrum provides a proven framework for managing complex work while staying agile. The core of Scrum combines flexibility with just enough structure to keep teams aligned. It succeeds through these three key elements: clear roles like product owner and scrum master, practical artifacts like the product backlog, and regular events like sprint planning that create rhythm and transparency. Most importantly, Scrum thrives on continuous improvement. The framework is designed for teams to regularly inspect their work and adapt their approach. That's why events like the retrospective are so valuable. If you'd like to dive deeper into Scrum, we have additional resources and training available to help you master this powerful framework. Whether you're new to Agile or looking to refine your Scrum practice, there's always more to learn about delivering value effectively.